FastMCP3 implements a reactive state management system through the FastMCP app class, which orchestrates bidirectional communication between the UI and backend tools via stable global identifiers. This architecture ensures that tool references remain consistent even when the server is mounted under different namespaces, eliminating the need for manual string-based tool references. The upcoming code demonstrates how to initialize a contact management application using FastMCP app, defining backend tools for data operations and UI entry points for user interaction. You'll see how reactive state updates and form submissions are handled through actions like call tool, set state, and show toast, all while maintaining a clean separation between UI components and server-side logic. From future import annotations. From typing import literal. From prefab UI, actions import set state, show toast. From prefab UI, actions, MCP import call tool. From prefab UI, app import prefab app. From prefab UI, components import. Badge, button, column for each form. Heading, input, muted, row, separator, text. From prefab URX import result, RX. From Pydantic import base model, field. From FastMCP import FastMCP, FastMCP app. Hash data. ContactsDB, listdict equals. Name, Arthur Dent, email, arthur@earth.com, category, customer. Name, Ford Prefect, email, ford@beetlejuice.org, category, partner. Class, ContactModel base model. Name, SDR equals field title equals full name, min length equals 1. Email, SDR equals field title equals email. Category, literal customer, vendor, partner, other equals other. Hash app. App equals FastMCP app contacts. Add app tool. Def save contact data. ContactModel list dict. Save a new contact and return the updated list. ContactsDB append data modeled. Return list ContactsDB. Add app tool. Def search contacts query. SDR list dict. Filter contacts by name or email. Q equals query lower. Return. C for C in ContactsDB. If Q in C name, lower, or Q in C email, lower. At app, tool model equals true. Def list contacts list dict. Return all contacts, visible to both the model and the UI. Return list ContactsDB. Add app, UI. Def contact manager, prefab app. Open the contact manager. With column gap equals 6, CSS class equals P6 as view. Heading contacts. With for each contacts as contact. With row gap equals 2, align equals center. Text contact, name, CSS class equals font medium. Muted contact, email. Badge contact, category. Separator. Heading add contact, level equals 3. Form from model. Contact model. On submit equals call tool. Save contact. On success equals. Set state contacts, result. Show toast contact saved. Variant equals success. On error equals show toast, failed to save. Variant equals error. Separator. Heading search, level equals 3. With form. On submit equals call tool. Search contacts. Arguments equals query, RX query. On success equals set state contacts, result. Input name, query, placeholder equals search by name or email. Button search. Return prefab app view equals view, state equals contacts. List ContactsDB. MCP equals FastMCP contact server. Providers equals app. If name equals main. MCP, run. This contact management application demonstrates a comprehensive integration of FastMCP3's core patterns for building interactive, model-connected UIs. The architecture follows a clear separation of concerns using FastMCP app is dual decorator system. At app, UI for the model-facing entry point, contact manager, and at app tool for backend operations, save contact, search contacts, list contacts. This design automatically handles visibility scoping. The model only sees the entry point, while the UI accesses backend tools, eliminating manual visibility management. The UI implementation showcases two distinct form patterns: a pydantic model-based form using form from model ContactModel for structured contact creation, and a manual form for search functionality. Both leverage call tool as the bridge to server operations, with the contact form demonstrating sophisticated success error handling through action chains. The result, reactive reference, enables seamless state updates after successful operations, while rx query shows dynamic argument binding from UI state. The component hierarchy uses column, row, and for each to create a responsive layout that iterates over the contacts list, with badge and muted components providing visual differentiation of data types. The backend tools demonstrate practical data handling patterns. Save contact validates input through Pydantic's contact model. Search contacts implements case-insensitive filtering, and list contacts marked with model equals true serves as a shared data access point for both UI and model. The application's composition-ready architecture is evident in how call tool references tools by name rather than hard-coded paths, ensuring stability even when mounted under namespaces. The final, FastMCP, server instantiation with the app as a provider completes the pattern, creating a self-contained but composable application unit. Let's break it down. From future import annotations. Enables forward references in type annotations, allowing type hints to reference classes defined later in the file. This is a Python 3.7 plus feature that helps with circular dependencies in type annotations. From typing, import literal. Imports the literal type from Python's typing module, which enables specifying that a variable or parameter can only take specific literal values rather than any value of a general type. From prefab UI, actions import setState, showToast. Imports setState and showToast from the prefab UI. Actions module, providing action classes for state management and user notifications in the UI layer. From prefab UI, actions, MCP import call tool. Imports the call tool class from the prefab UI, actions, MCP module, which serves as a bridge between the UI and server by invoking backend tools registered with the @app tool decorator. From prefab UI, app import prefab app. Imports the prefab app class from the prefab UI, app module, providing a foundation for building FastMCP3 applications with prefabricated UI components and tool integration capabilities. This class serves as the main entry point for creating applications that can register tools and handle MCP protocol communications. From prefab UI, components import. Imports UI components from the prefab UI, components module, preparing to use them in the current code. Badge, button, column for each form. Imports UI components badge, button, column, for each, and form for constructing user interface elements in a FastMCP application. These components enable creating interactive form layouts with repeating elements, buttons, and visual indicators. Heading, input, muted, row, separator, text. Imports UI components heading, input, muted, row, separator, and text from the FastMCP framework
for building user interface elements. These components are used to construct the visual layout and interactive elements of the application's front end.
From prefab URX import result, RX.
Imports result and RX from the prefab UIRX module, providing access to reactive programming utilities and result handling within the FastMCP 3 framework.
From Pydantic import base model, field.
Imports base model and field from the Pydantic library, providing base functionality for data models and field customization.
From FastMCP import FastMCP, FastMCP app.
Imports the FastMCP class and FastMCP app class from the FastMCP module, providing the core components for building FastMCP 3 applications. FastMCP serves as the base class for creating MCP-compliant servers, while FastMCP app offers decorator-based tool registration and management functionality.
ContactsDB, listdict equals.
Declares a variable named ContactsDB as a list of dictionaries, initialized as an empty list. The type annotation listdict explicitly indicates this will store a collection of dictionary objects, though the actual content isn't visible in this segment.
Name, Arthur Dent, email, arthur@earth.com, category, customer.
Defines a dictionary containing user information with 3 key value pairs. Name set to Arthur Dent, email set to arthur@earth.com, and category set to customer. This appears to be a data structure representing a user record with basic identification and contact details.
Name, Ford Prefect, email, ford@beetlejuice.org, category, partner.
Defines a dictionary entry with 3 key value pairs. Name set to Ford Prefect, email set to ford@beetlejuice.org, and category set to partner. This appears to be a data record representing a contact or user with their associated details.
Class ContactModel base model.
Declares a class named ContactModel that inherits from base model, establishing it as a data model with validation and serialization capabilities provided by the base class.
Name, SDR equals field title equals full name, min length equals 1.
Declares a string field named name with validation constraints, requiring a minimum length of 1 character and setting its display title to full name in the schema. The field constructor from the validation framework is used to define these metadata and validation rules for the field.
Email, SDR equals field title equals email.
Declares a string field named email with type annotation and metadata. The field constructor sets the title to email for documentation or UI display purposes, while the type hint SDR enforces string validation at runtime. This creates a structured data field with both type safety and human-readable labeling.
Category, literal customer, vendor, partner, other equals other.
Declares a variable named category with a type annotation specifying it must be one of the literal string values, customer, vendor, partner, or other, and initializes it with the default value other. This creates a type-constrained variable that can only hold those specific string values, with other as the starting value.
App equals FastMCP app contacts.
Creates a FastMCP app instance named app with the server identifier contacts that will be exposed during MCP protocol handshakes for client identification purposes. The string parameter serves solely as a label in the protocol, not as a functional configuration.
Add app tool. Def save contact data. ContactModel listdict. Save a new contact and return the updated list.
Defines a tool function named SaveContact that accepts a ContactModel parameter and returns a list of dictionaries. The @app tool decorator registers this function as an MCP tool, exposing it via the model context protocol with the default tool name matching the function name. The docstring indicates this tool saves a new contact and returns the updated contact list.
ContactsDB append data modeled.
Appends the dictionary representation of a data object to the ContactsDB list. The model dump method converts the object into a dictionary format, and this dictionary is then added as a new element to the end of the ContactsDB list.
Return list ContactsDB.
Converts the ContactsDB iterable into a list and returns it. This ensures the function returns a concrete list object rather than whatever iterable type. ContactsDB might be generator, set, etc., making the return value predictable and indexable.
@app tool. Def search context query. SDR list dict. Filter contacts by name or email.
Defines a tool function named SearchContacts that takes a string query parameter and returns a list of dictionaries. The @app tool decorator registers this function as an MCP tool, making it callable via the model context protocol with the default tool name SearchContacts. The docstring indicates this tool filters contacts by name or email, though the implementation isn't shown in this segment.
Q equals query lower.
Converts the string stored in the variable query to lowercase and assigns the result back to Q. This ensures case-insensitive comparison or processing of the query string in subsequent operations.
C for C in ContactsDB. If Q and C name, lower, or Q and C email, lower.
Filters contacts from ContactsDB by checking if the query string Q exists in either the lowercase version of the contact's name or email. This is a generator expression that yields each matching contact, C, where the condition is true. The comparison is case-insensitive due to the lower calls on both the contact fields and the implicit assumption that Q is also lowercase or case-normalized elsewhere.
@app tool model equals true. Def list contacts list dict. Return all contacts, visible to both the model and the UI.
Defines a function, list contacts decorated with @app tool model equals true, making it accessible to both the model and UI components. The function returns a list of dictionaries representing all contacts, with the decorator specifying that this tool is visible in the model context.
@app UI.
Decorates the following function as a UI component in the FastMCP application framework. The @app UI decorator registers the function as a user interface element that will be exposed through the Model Context Protocol, MCP, making it accessible to clients that connect to this FastMCP server. This is the mechanism that bridges the function to the UI layer, allowing it to be called from the front end while executing on the server.
Def Contact Manager, Prefab app. Open the Contact Manager.
Defines a function named ContactManager that returns a prefab app instance. The docstring indicates this function opens the Contact Manager, suggesting it initializes or provides access to contact management functionality within the FastMCP 3 framework. The return type annotation specifies the function yields a prefab app object, which is likely a pre-configured application component in this context.
With column gap equals 6, CSS class equals P6 as view.
Creates a column layout container with a 6-unit gap and applies the CSS class P6 for padding, assigning it to the variable view using a context manager. The column class here is being used as a layout component that will contain other UI elements within this padded column structure.
Heading contacts.
Creates a heading labeled Contacts in the user interface. This is a UI component that displays a section title for organizing content visually. The exact rendering depends on the framework's styling, but it serves as a clear visual separator and label for the Contacts section.
With for each contacts as contact.
Iterates over each item in the Contacts collection, assigning the current item to the variable contact for use within the loop block. The for-each context manager handles the iteration protocol, providing sequential access to collection elements.
With row gap equals 2, align equals center.
Creates a row layout container with a 2-unit gap between elements and centers all child components horizontally. The with statement establishes this as the current layout context for any UI elements defined within its indentation block.
Text contact, name, CSS class equals font medium.
Creates a text component displaying the contact's name with medium font weight styling. The text constructor takes the contact's name as content and applies the CSS class, font medium, for visual formatting.
Muted contact, email.
Calls the muted function with contact email as the argument, passing the email address from the contact object to be processed by the muted function. The immediate effect is invoking whatever logic muted implements on that email value.
Badge contact, category.
Creates a badge component using the category value from the contact object. The badge is a UI element that visually displays the contact's category as a labeled indicator, typically for quick visual identification in the interface.
Heading add contact, level equals 3.
Creates a level 3 heading titled add contact using the heading component. The level parameter specifies the heading hierarchy, with level equals 3 indicating a sub-subheading in the document structure.
Form from model.
Creates a form instance by generating form fields from a model class. The fromModel class method introspects the model's fields and automatically constructs corresponding form fields with appropriate types and validation rules. This is a common pattern in web frameworks to reduce boilerplate when creating forms that map directly to database models.
ContactModel.
Imports the ContactModel class, which appears to be a data model for contact-related information in the FastMCP 3 framework. This would typically define the structure and validation rules for contact data used within the application.
OnSubmit equals call tool.
Assigns a call tool instance to the onSubmit parameter, creating a bridge between the UI and a server-side tool. Call tool connects UI events to backend functions registered with the @AppTool decorator, enabling direct execution of server tools when the submit action occurs.
Save contact.
This is a string literal, save contact, that appears to be used as an identifier or parameter value in the FastMCP 3 context. Based on the provided concepts, this could represent either a tool name being registered with the MCP protocol or a parameter being passed to a FastMCP function call. The exact role depends on the surrounding code context not shown here, but the string itself simply contains the value save contact, which would be used as is in whatever operation it's part of.
Set state contacts, result.
Updates the state variable named contacts with the value stored in the result constant. This operation stores the result data in the application state under the contacts key, making it available for subsequent operations or components that access this state.
Show toast contact saved. Variant equals success.
Calls show toast to display a success notification with the message contact saved, and a visual style variant set to success. This is a UI feedback mechanism indicating a successful operation to the user.
On error equals show toast. Failed to save. Variant equals error.
Assigns an error handler that displays a toast notification with the message failed to save, styled as an error variant when an error occurs. The onError parameter is being set to call the showToast function with these specific arguments.
Heading search. Level equals 3.
Creates a level 3 heading titled search using the heading component. The level parameter specifies the heading hierarchy, with level 3 indicating a subheading typically rendered as an H3 element in HTML. This is purely a UI presentation element that structures content visually.
With form.
Initiates a context manager using the form class, which typically handles form-related operations in FastMCP 3. The with statement ensures proper setup and teardown of form resources, though the specific form configuration or actions aren't visible in this segment. This line alone doesn't show form fields, validation, or submission handling. It only establishes the form context.
Search contacts.
This is a string literal, search contacts, that appears to be a tool name or identifier in the FastMCP context. Based on the provided concepts, this string would be used as an explicit tool name exposed via MCP model context protocol when passed to FastMCP or related decorators. The string itself doesn't perform any action, but serves as a label for identifying a specific tool or functionality in the FastMCP framework.
Arguments equals query. Rx query.
Creates a dictionary entry with key query that references a reactive value named query using the Rx function. This establishes a reactive binding where changes to the query value will automatically propagate through the MCP protocol.
On success equals set state contacts. Result.
Sets the state variable, contacts, to the value of result when the operation succeeds. This is a callback handler that updates the application state with the operation's result upon successful completion.
Input name. Query. Placeholder equals search by name or email.
Creates an input field named query with the placeholder text, search by name or email. This is a UI component that accepts user text input, with the placeholder serving as a hint for what type of information should be entered. The name, query, identifies this input in form submissions or data handling.
Button search.
Creates a button UI element with the label search that, when clicked, will trigger an action defined elsewhere in the codebase. The button serves as a user interface control for initiating a search operation, though the specific search functionality is not implemented in this line.
Return prefab app view equals view. State equals contacts. List contacts DB.
Returns a prefab app instance initialized with a view parameter and a state dictionary containing a list of contacts from ContactsDB. The contacts value is explicitly converted to a list to ensure it's serializable for the application state.
MCP equals FastMCP contact server. Providers equals app.
Creates a FastMCP instance named MCP with the server identifier, contact server, and registers the provided FastMCP app instance stored in variable app as its provider. The string contact server serves as a label for protocol handshakes to identify this server to clients, while the provider's parameter establishes the application that will handle tool calls and operations.
If name equals main.
Checks if the script is being executed directly rather than imported as a module. When a Python file is run directly, the name variable is set to main, allowing code under this condition to execute only in that context. This is a common pattern to separate reusable module code from execution-specific logic.
MCP, run.
Executes the run method on the MCP object, initiating the Model Context Protocol MCP server's main execution loop. This starts the server and begins processing incoming requests according to the configured tools and protocols. FastMCP3's reactive state management shines through the FastMCP app class, which cleanly separates UI and backend concerns while maintaining bidirectional communication. The @app tool decorator registers backend operations like save contact and search contacts, making them accessible via stable global identifiers that remain consistent even when the server is mounted under different namespaces. This eliminates manual string-based tool references and ensures reliable tool invocation. The UI layer, defined with app UI, leverages components like FormFromModel and CallTool to bridge user interactions with server-side logic. When a user submits the contact form, CallTool invokes the SaveContact tool, and on success, setState updates the reactive state with the latest contacts list, while showToast provides immediate feedback. Similarly, the search functionality uses rxQuery to dynamically bind the search input to the search contacts tool, demonstrating how reactive state updates flow seamlessly between UI and backend. The architecture's strength lies in its composition-ready design. Tools are referenced by name rather than hard-coded paths, ensuring stability across different mounting scenarios. The list contacts tool, marked with model equals true, serves as a shared data access point for both the UI and model, illustrating how FastMCP3 maintains a clean separation of concerns while enabling efficient data flow. This pattern creates self-contained, composable application units that can be easily integrated into larger systems.
The literal types stand in order, while badge broadcasts their categories to the empty sky.